It's your boy Jet Best, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 3, episode 2. On today's episode, I'm bringing Jerrick on board to give his reaction to my NFL tiers that I made last week heading into the season. All right, and then following that, we're gonna talk about topics such as our week 1 takeaways, and then what 0-1 team do we have the most confidence in, and then is it time to panic in Cincinnati after they lost to a hopeless Patriots team? All right, but before we get into all of that, as always, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning and allowing me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. And without him, I would not be here right now. Look, week 1 is down the drain, and I can't wait for week 2 to start. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get straight to the point. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started with Jerrick's reaction to my NFL tiers. All right, last week I made my NFL tiers based on basically how I feel about team, going from the bottom left of the picture you're seeing on your screen right now, and up, and then bottom right and up. All right, bottom barrel Chiefs being the last level, and then favorites being the top level. All right, so I want to hear Jerry's reaction to my NFL tiers.
You know, I think you actually did. You have a nice list here. There's a lot of, you hit the nail on the head with a lot of these tiers, and there's a few things that I would question about these tiers, but overall, it's solid. Like, getting started with it, bottom middle Chiefs to Giants. It's just terrible, and it's terrible because Daniel Jones, he's your quarterback. I mean, if you watched the game this last week or you watched any football related, you saw how he played. He threw 2 interceptions and it was bad. Got the crowd leaving after he threw a pick six. They talking bad about him. It's bad. Like, and honestly, and like this is just it's the product that you get with letting Saquon walk and keeping Daniel Jones as your quarterback. And so your next tier, we're playing for 2025, which I agree. These are all teams that they've taken this step and they've acquired key pieces to help them in their rebuild phase, to help them start that transition off. You got the Broncos, Bo Nix, you got the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, Patriots drafting Drake May, who they're not even playing this year, as that is clearly keys that they are looking forward to the future. And then you have the Vikings with JJ McCarthy, who's out for a season with injury. The Panthers, they brought in pieces on offense to help Bryce Young. It's going to take some time to get there, though. You have your quarterback of the future, hopefully. You start to bring in pieces. You got to just continue to build the offensive line, get the defense stronger, but you have key pieces there. I like what I saw this past offseason to get them started there. And then the Cardinals, you drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. You hoping that he's going to be your guy, that guy. You think that he has the capabilities to be a top 5 receiver in the league in the next couple of years. And so that's who you want to help out your quarterback in Kyler Murray. And so that's just a good way to start off your rebuild and start off the right way.
Hey,
Next is you're not
real
sold.
quick, they said somebody said Marvin Harrison like Spencer James in the first game.
And they need to stop that, man. That man was open a couple times, and him
Oh
and him and
man.
Kyler couldn't make the connection. They need to stop that though. But he gonna be all right. It's okay. It's first game. We going first game. He gonna be
Oh,
solid. But next year, you're not sold, and this is the tier that I would say is the spot on tier. Not sold. You got the Jaguars, the Browns, the Raiders, and the Titans. The Titans, Will Levis, I'm not sold at all. People think that Will Levis has the ability to help this team. I just don't see it. I don't think Will Levis is a franchise quarterback. And with you getting rid of Jerry, look, exactly. That man, he single-handedly threw that game away. You were up by a lot. Chicago's offense was struggling, and you literally folded. You
and
threw a
tell them what the
pick,
coach
and you
said.
oh my God, the coach said if he was to go out there and punt the ball on first down every single time, they would have won that game. That is bad. That just alludes to the fact that you had terrible QB play and your quarterback sold that game. That's first of all, that's bad to say on the coach's part because you just threw
Right.
threw the whole offense under the bus.
Hey man, if I was the owner of the GM, you're done. give me,
Yeah,
give me the whistle. Give me because this is who you're gonna be moving forward. Because y'all not gonna win nothing this year. So if this gonna be what you could be saying in the press conference post game, then nah, you're going. I can't have this. Ain't no way the offense did not see that. They saw that. I hope you know they saw what you said.
whole locker room saw what he said.
He didn't say it and laugh with it like we probably should have punted every first down, right? He didn't laugh with it and made it look. He was serious. Like he was dead serious about it.
Yeah, that's actually bad. And then you got the Jaguars. I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence. You were very high on him coming out of college.
I
You thought he
was.
was the next Peyton Manning. Yeah, and I wasn't too sold on him, and so far I've been correct. I mean, he hasn't been able to lead the team to success, and I don't think he ever will. And he just got this big contract, making him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, and I think that the contract wasn't a good idea. Not that he's he's in a situation where he's a quarterback that you don't take a gamble on another quarterback. You don't try to draft another quarterback or sign another quarterback and hope that you hit the lotto. He's a good enough quarterback to hopefully get the job done. But I don't think he's worth all that money that you just gave him.
Yeah, he's not.
I
He's
just
not.
don't.
He's not worth that contract. And like you said, he's not trash. Like he's
Yeah.
not garbage. He's pretty solid. And I think that after this year, Doug Peterson gonna be gone. So if Doug leave, they bring somebody else in, and he still looks the same, then he's just mid. Like that's what he is.
Yeah. And then you got the Browns. This is this is the team that in this whole tier list, all 32 teams, this is the team that is the most fittingly in the tier that they're in. The Browns, this whole entire offseason I've been hearing, still is going to be fourth place. Still is going to be fourth place. Still is going to finish last. Still is aren't going to be able to beat the Browns. Look at what the Browns just put on display. I understand it's week one, but their quarterback looks god awful. He looks god awful. I had somebody, and we all know his off the field and his legal issues. Somebody said that he is a better person off the field than he is quarterback on the field. And this man has done a lot. That says a lot about the type of quarterback that you have. This man, he didn't complete any passes that were 15 plus yards down the field. Completed zero. None. He's back there. It doesn't help that your O line is out there just getting the man mauled. It was bad on every level. And you have player in Amari Cooper. You have Jerry Judy, who has potential. I mean, somebody said he's a Jag last year, but he can be a solid second to third option. You have what you're hoping can be a good running game when Nick Chubb comes back. Jerome Ford, he's not no scrub. So there still should be some type of run presence, but the offense just looks bad. They have a defense that is good enough to help them stay in games. When they go against good teams that also have a good defense and has an offense that can put points on the board, like Dallas just did, it's going to be a bad product. And you got smoked this past weekend. And I really do hope people really sit back and look at what they said before the season started. Remember what you said. You thought so highly of the Browns. Y'all thought Deshaun Watson was going to come back. Deshaun Watson, before he got hurt last year, I didn't see anything that said, wow, he can take this team places. I saw nothing. So the fact that people actually thought that they were going to come into this season and Deshaun Watson was going to lead this team, hey, put Jameis Winston in the game.
And even with average QB play, which Jameis Winston will give you, I still don't think this offense is really that good. Like outside of Amari Cooper, like you said, who are they throwing the ball to? I don't fear David Njoku. I don't fear Jerry Judy. I don't fear nobody else on that offense. So I'm not understanding where the hype was, and nobody was saying they're going to the Super Bowl or nothing like that. But they were saying this is a playoff team. They were saying this is a team that can give people a run for their. But no, no.
I don't see it at all. And then you have the Raiders in the not sold category. Um, I see why you put them in the not sold category. I was sold on them when I saw this past week. I'm not too sold anymore. But it's a funny thing because they're in a position where you can't say that they're playing for 2025. You just can't. They have a vet in Devontae Adams. You don't know how many years he has left on him. You have Max Crosby, who's already proven that he's a stud. You just brought in Christian Wilkins. Like you have pieces to that team, but unfortunately, you didn't acquire a quarterback this offseason. I think that is a big part of it. The quarterback and your offensive line play is going to be a big reason why you have no success this year. Like literally, in the beginning of the game, it was a tough dog fight. I thought, hey, this is what I thought I was going to be able to see. Their defense keeping them in a game and being able to help them out, and then you made a crucial mistake, a bad play call, bad decision by Antonio Pierce, and it led to J.K. Dobbins ending the game. I mean, you still, there's room for improvement. It's only week one, but yeah, they're in a rough spot to where you have to say you're not sold on them because they can't be playing for 2025. So, and that's a battle of the South. We got the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Falcons. And so these are literally these are teams that they're just playing for the division. They're not anywhere worse than this tier right here, and they're nowhere higher. So this is a perfect tier for these three teams, as we know that if you don't win this division, you're not going to make the playoffs. It's that simple. And out of this tier, the team that I will say I'm the most confident in, I would say the Buccaneers, because they have that experience. They have that experience. You have Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin, Baker Mayfield, somebody who's completely turned his career around. Baker Mayfield in Cleveland is not the same Baker Mayfield you're getting in Tampa Bay. And people are saying that look at Cleveland. Look at what they've done now. You didn't trust Baker Mayfield. You want Baker Mayfield gone so bad. You got Deshaun Watson. This is this isn't that case. This is Baker Mayfield. He was able to take a step back and realize what he needed to work on, and he worked on it. And you just got to be honest about it. Baker Mayfield in Cleveland was not a good quarterback. He wasn't. He wasn't going to lead them anywhere. He's going to take them anywhere. So they were right to move on from him. When you're a number one pick, you're supposed to come in and you're supposed to be able to lead that team places. He couldn't lead that team places. It's almost a similar case to Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence is just better. If Trevor Lawrence can't lead that team places, like you say, in the next couple of years, Trevor Lawrence will be gone. Baker Mayfield, he took them to the playoffs for the first time in however many years. He won the playoff game, but outside of that, they've seen nothing. After that, you're supposed to go up from there. They didn't go up from there. So, but now Baker Mayfield, he was able to take that time and take a step back and look at himself in the mirror. He went to LA for a couple of weeks and he ended up in Tampa with the right pieces around him, and he's playing good football now. So that's the team that I will say in that tier list, they are probably my favorites to be the best team in this tier list and win the division. The Falcons, they're a good team. I just don't think that they're ready yet. I don't. They're in the funniest position. You have Kirk Cousins, who is coming off of injury, and you have all these pieces around you. You have Bijan Robinson, you have Drake London, you have Kyle Pitts. You have nothing but pieces around you. But I think that at least for this year, they're not going to be, those pieces aren't going to amount to enough wins for them to win their division. And in the Saints, I'm not I'm not too sold on the Saints. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if maybe it's Derek Carr being their quarterback. I don't know. I'm not too so for those of you who watching this and y'all Saints fans, don't take this personally. I know y'all going I'm gonna receive some backlash for this. Y'all gonna want him to never bring me on the podcast no more. But I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm just not sold on y'all's team. And being quite honest, like there is questions coming to the season, like people are saying maybe Spencer Rattler might take over for Derek Carr. Like, and Spencer Rattler, I don't think that he's a good prospect coming out. So like, I just with your quarterback and with the other little pieces in your team, you're gonna give Tampa Bay a run for their money in this division. It's gonna be a case like we saw last year where they all have the same record with 2 weeks to go, and then somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose. So y'all be in the race for your division. But I just don't think y'all gonna be able to get it done.
And you
I
and
really
you
don't.
said so out of Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, and Kirk Cousins, who you trust the most right now?
Right now, I trust Baker Mayfield the most.
Baker, right? And out of the head coaches, right, with Dennis Allen, Todd Bowles, and not Raheem Mostert. What's his name? Raheem Morris. Sorry,
Raheem
Raheem Morris.
Morris,
Who you trust the most?
Todd Bowles.
So they win in the quarterback and the coaching aspect. So you're right. They might. I said the Falcons just because of talent, but there's a reason why I have them in this tier because it might not be the Falcons. It might be Tampa. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the Saints might just squeeze in there. Like we just don't know. I think a lot of people thought that Atlanta was gonna run away with this division because the division was weak last year. They thought they was gonna add. They added Kirk Cousins. And now they're head and shoulders above everybody else. So no, you're not. This is still gonna be a week 17, week 18 matchup. In the previous episode, I said Atlanta, your first 5 games are not easy. They just lost to the Steelers. They played the Eagles this upcoming week. So you fall too far behind, and that's why I put all of them here because all of their first 5 games are either you're gonna win them, you're gonna lose. There is no games where I can guarantee wins. So Atlanta better start winning soon. I know it's early, it's week 1, but you play the Eagles next. Don't be 0-2 if you want. It's gonna be hard. I think it's gonna be hard this division to be able to come back from it. And they play the Buccaneers within the first 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be a tough one for them. And so, Next we have role reversal, and these are you're right, these are two teams where last year they beat up on a lot of bad teams. As simple as it was, we saw the Jaguars give the Dolphins a struggle, and the
and get
Jaguars
the
are a
game
team that
away.
we have. Yeah, and they're the team that we have no type of. We're not sold on at all. Like literally, they're in the not sold tier for a reason. And so the fact that you struggle with them, it just shows that Tua is not your guy of the future. He's just not. I mean, you just gave Jalen Ramsey an extension, which hopefully he can keep up play and become better over the years and try to give you back little shades of prime Jalen Ramsey. I mean, you have solid pieces. You have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, but your quarterback. Your quarterback's a problem. Your quarterback's a liability to your team. And until you get another quarterback, I don't see you going anywhere. And like you said, last year you beat up on a lot of bad teams. And this year to start off, yeah, I know it's week one and teams are gonna get better and teams are gonna change. You struggle with a team that if you were one of the top teams and a Super Bowl contender, you wouldn't have had trouble with the Jaguars. You just wouldn't. And the Cowboys, um, Dak Prescott, he's now the highest paid player. The highest paid player. I don't see why. It doesn't make sense to me. And this past week, he showed he people he thinks that he showed why. You didn't. You don't have me fooled. I'm not gonna look at this game and just be like, oh, you deserved it. Oh, you're showing people why you deserve it. I don't. You beat the Cleveland Browns. Yes, I'll give it to you. They have a good defense, and you managed to put up a lot of points on their good defense. But from what we've seen, personally being Steelers fans, it's hard for a defense to keep up good play for so long when your offense is producing nothing. It's so hard. Eventually, a defense is gonna break down. We saw Myles Garrett once again with a couple of almost sacks. We saw them create pressure. We saw them get a couple of stops, but you cannot keep that up for the length of the game. And Dallas, mind you, they do have enough pieces to put up points on the board. And so this week one win against the Browns, Cowboys fans, be glad about all you want. Don't do what you did last year and say y'all going to the Super Bowl. I pray you don't. Let this be the year y'all break the cycle from saying, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. Because you're not. You're just not. I'm still not sold that you're going to the playoffs. So be lucky that you play a bad Browns team and you're able to get in that 1-0 column and try to build from here. Live week to week. Do not look forward to February when you might not be playing football in January. That's all I'm gonna say. And then we got the Blue in 2023. Now this is where I don't quite agree a little bit. I just don't.
Talk to me.
And
Talk to me.
I understand your reasoning for putting the Lions here. They were so close last year. You're a couple key decisions away from going to the Super Bowl. Playing a Chiefs team that you had beat week one, although it was just week one, and we know that the Chiefs tend to get better as the season moves on. You you were so close to being able to play in the Super Bowl, saying you got to the Super Bowl, but you didn't because of a couple bad decisions. Now we got teams like the Eagles who have regrouped and they're coming back. Now we got teams like the Packers who are on the rise. We got the 49ers coming back. I see what you're saying, but I do think that they are a good enough football team, and what they've added in this offseason, helping out that secondary, I do think that they can and they do have the capabilities to be a Super Bowl contender this year. Jared Goff's playing good football. They have a good running game. You got a two-headed monster in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, who we see, if you use him correctly, that man can be a stud. We just saw what he did week one. Nobody expected that out of him. He's on my fantasy team, and I did not play him. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, man, I should have played him. No, because I had him last year, and he did nothing when he came back from suspension. I think he had one game in double digits. So, but this is a player that we see when you put him in the right position, speed kills. And you can use his speed to kill. And then you have Aiden, I'm not gonna lie to you. Aiden Hutchinson, that's a bad man. That's a
Awesome.
bad man.
Awesome.
He's a dog. Like coming out of Michigan, I wasn't too hot on him. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe it was my personal hate because I was a CJ Stroud guy and I know that he beat CJ Stroud. but that man is a dog. And the Lions, they got themselves one. But yeah, I feel like the Lions is a team that if Jared Goff can give you the play he gave you last year, you will find yourself in the NFC divisional round in a game that you can win, or you'll find yourself in the NFC Championship in a game that you can win. I don't think that they have taken a step back last year, and I don't think any of their opponents that will really give them a run for their money. I don't think any of them got so much better to where they just surpassed them. So I do think that maybe they should be in a scary teams or in a no injuries, no problem tier list, just because I feel like they have a chance this year. Now the Ravens, oh yeah, they're good. They're absolutely good. I don't think the Ravens have a chance of going to the Super Bowl this year. Last year was your chance. Last year the the Chiefs took care of the Bills for you. The Chiefs took care of the Dolphins, who they might have gave you some problems. And then, mind you, there's no Aaron Rodgers last year. You were able to play a young C.J. Stroud, who, if you have to play him this year, I'm putting my money on the Texans and C.J. Stroud. Everything lined up in your favor last year, and you couldn't get the job done. So this year, I don't think that they did enough to their team. You lost Patrick Queen. Yeah, you added some pieces. You drafted Nate Wiggins. You added Derrick Henry, who hopefully you can get him. If he can play like Tennessee Derrick Henry, then you will be all right. But I just don't think it's enough. And the main reason why it's not enough is just because of the man that's under center. He's not a bad quarterback. People think that we sit here and we talk bad about him, but we're not. Like we're not downplaying anything that he's done. He's had success in the regular season. He is a two-time MVP. Like he's a good football player. I will give that to you. But I just don't think that he's a quarterback that can take this team to the Super Bowl. And if you look back here at week one, he had two blown chances to win that football game. You missed the pass to Isaiah Likely in the corner. If you put that ball on his chest or you put it down just a little bit, it's a touchdown. Now it's Kim Mahomes beat Mahomes. You missed Zay Flowers in the back end zone where you came out. You said you were throwing to somebody else. Honestly, when I look back at the tape, I don't see why you're throwing it to somebody else. Your target should have been Zay Flowers, and you missed that target. And then fourth down, you missed Isaiah like he was out of bounds. Well, or third or fourth down, but the time ran out, so it wouldn't matter anyways. And fourth out of bounds. So it's like you had your chance last year, and you really had a chance. But this year, with the competition in AFC and with the players you have under center, like I said, no shade. I'm not discredited, taking anything away from him. It's just unless you have a really, really great roster, you need a quarterback that's going to be able to just put the team on his back and in the crucial clutch moments make those plays. I don't think Lamar Jackson's that type of quarterback. I just don't. And so moving on to scary teams, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I had reacted to your tears before week one, I would completely 100% agree with you having the Bears in this scary teams column. But after what I saw week one, yes, now I know it's Caleb Williams' first pro football game. He might have had the jitters, might have been you played Tennessee Titans. You played Tennessee Titans and you accumulated for 92 passing yards. That doesn't convince me. You had to win off of Will Levis peeing his pants and a punt return, not even a punt return, a blocked punt that you scooped up for a touchdown. Like that's what it took for you to beat the Tennessee Titans. Now, like I said, people are gonna say it's week one. For me personally, week one does tell me something. Because week one tells me the type of team you're going to be, at least. It gives us some shade, some hint of what you're gonna be. Like what we saw from the Giants and the Panthers, that's what we're gonna continue to see. And so I think that what we saw from the Bears might be what we could see. Now, mind you, I could be wrong. I could be wrong with two left shoes. And Caleb Williams can find a way to turn this around, but I just don't think they deserve to be in the scary teams list. Now, mind you, they wouldn't be in a blue it in 2023 because they didn't do nothing in 2023. They
Mhm.
wouldn't be role reversal either. I think that you should put them in this tier of don't sleep on them. That's where I think you should have put them in there with the Colts and the Bills and the Seahawks. Who, if we're being quite honest, I'm not too sold on the Colts either. So I'm gonna continue to sleep on the Colts and the Chargers. I'm gonna hit that snooze button when it comes to them. The other Colts took Texans into a tight game, and it
They
came down
did.
to the end.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sold. I'm really not sold completely. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not. So I'm gonna hit the snooze button on them. I'm gonna hit the snooze button on the Chargers for sure, for sure. Bills and the Seahawks. You're right. You can't sleep on them. You got Josh Allen with the Bills, and then the Seahawks. They've proven that they have a good enough defense to where if Geno can be solid, which we know Geno is a solid quarterback, that they can find a way to win games, and they have enough pieces. So I think that you definitely should have put the Bears in the don't sleep on them tier. But other than that, Rams, Packers, Texans, Steelers. You're right. These are scary teams. If you look at Week 1, you saw things from each of these teams that shows that they're going to be scary. Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is playing out of his mind. I'll tell you that right now. That man, he's a lot of people counted him out when he was coming off that injury and said he's washed and well, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. He's playing
Um,
great. He has Puka Nakua who went down with the injury, but he will be back. You got Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup is looking like 1937. If you know what that means, you know what that means. Triple Crown winner. That's what he's looking like. He's showing that he is that man. And you have Kyron Williams, and then you have a young defense who's only going to get better. You look at the Packers. Packers gave the Eagles a great run for their money, and mind you, they're still young. Yes, they have playoff experience from last year, but they're still young. So this is a team that you can see take a leap as the season progresses because of how young they are. You have Jordan Love. Jordan Love got a little injury, he's gonna be a little setback, but that's okay because now is the time that I'm going to say if you're a Packers fan, look at it like this. I don't think Malik Willis is good enough to give you not even half of what Jordan Love gave you, but I feel like he can keep you in a game if your defense allows it. So if you're a Packers fan, look at it like this. Now is your time to see, can your defense really step up? Can your defense take over games? Can your defense make it to where, hey, Malik Willis, go score 13 points and we got you. We got your back. Go score 17 points and we got your back. Hey, do what the Steelers did. Go score 18 points. We got your back. Like that's the thing that I'm looking to see from the Packers in these next couple of weeks. But I definitely do think that they are going to be a scary team come playoff time. The Texans. CJ Stroud is that guy. He is that guy. And what I've seen from the Texans, my whole entire life being down here in Houston, I've been able to say Texans are trash. And this is on a year-end basis. I'm talking about even when they had J.J. Watt and when they had Andre Johnson, I was able to say that the Texans are just not good. Like, whenever I will go to school, I not have to worry about a single Texans fan talking trash to me. Because what can you say to me about your team? But in the span, just like that, with snapping their finger, I look back up, they've built something here. They've really built something that's scary. D'Amico Ryan, he is helping build something that's very scary. You have CJ Stroud, who is Hey, if some people don't think so already, after this year, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. I'm gonna say that right now. You've added Stephon Diggs to Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Nico Collins, man, came out of nowhere. And that just shows also how good your quarterback is. This man makes Nico Collins look like he's really like a top 7 to 8 wide receiver in this league. It's incredible. And then you added Joe Mixon. Looking back at this past weekend, Joe Mixon just showed that he's a dog. That man, he said, "Hey, we're not gonna play cute this year." I saw that man come out here with elbow pads and no gloves. He's trying to run through people's faces. That is what I've seen like that, and he showed. Go look at the stat line. Go check it out. And then that defense. You add Daniel Hunter to an already young and solid defense. You have Derek Stingley. You have Jalen Petrie. You have Will Anderson. If you're a Houston fan, the future's looking bright. And honestly, the future is now if we really want to look at it because of CJ Stroud. And then the last team in this tier list, Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, it was a little shaky this past weekend, but If you look at it, it looks much better than last year does. A lot much better with who people might say isn't a better quarterback option. If Russell Wilson's on that field, he might be able to produce one or two touchdowns. I mean, now mind you, I watched the whole entire game from start to finish. What I saw was offense was able to move the ball, but then something would happen. There would be a bad first down, or there would be a penalty call that would get us behind the sticks, and then we couldn't get to the first down, and we had to kick field goal. But with that being said, we scored 18 points off of 6 field goals, and the defense showed why they are, if not number one, a top three defense in the league. TJ Watt, Lord have mercy. That man is something special. Like what we were seeing is something special. Like people, for those of you who are TJ Watt haters and don't think he's as good as advertised, you need to appreciate greatness when you see it. It's almost like LeBron. I used to hate LeBron for some time. He knows this. I used to dog out LeBron. But I am able to look back now and say, hey, it's greatness. Whether you like it or not, it's greatness, and you have to respect it. And he's showing this week one. So many plays called back that this man had two forced fumbles, could have had 2 to 3 sacks. He had a fumble recovery and a sack that they did not take away from him. Like, he's just showing that he's a dog. He honestly is. And the rest of the defense, we added to the secondary. People said, why you trade Deontay Johnson? Why you trade Deontay Johnson? You see why. If you watch that game, you see why. Dante Jackson came in, he made key plays, and he got the interception at the end of the game. This defense, even if the offense can't get on track, which I think they will, this defense is good enough to help us out. And we are going to be a scary team. Now, going on to the next tier list. No injuries, no problems. Hey, from what I saw of the 49ers, even with the injury, there's still a problem. Who is this man that they found? Where did they find this man? This is what I want to know. Jordan Brooks, where did they find
Yes.
this man? This man, hey, he knows how to tote that rock. I would say that. And you're bringing back your core players. That's important. You got the deal with Ayuk done to be able to bring him back. You got Trent Williams to come back. A big part of your offense. Trent Williams, he's without a doubt the best at his position. We know this. Brock Purdy, he's gonna continue to get better. He's so young. That's what people keep forgetting. He's a very young quarterback who was thrown into the fire and succeeded. We never gave Brock Purdy the opportunity to progress and get better. Like the criticism that Brock Purdy gets is the criticism that Trevor Lawrence deserves. Trevor Lawrence has had years and time to progress and make something out of himself. This is Brock Purdy's third season. This will be his second season where he's actually the quarterback from week one. So give him a little bit of time. Like this year, if we see another jump out of Brock Purdy, we should be able to say that they are, without a doubt, the Super Bowl champs. We should be able to because they have a great defense. You have Nick Bosa, you have Fred Warner, you have dogs all around, and you have Deebo Samuel, George Kittle on your offense. And then whenever Christian McCaffrey gets back from injury, you will be fine. Like you said, no injuries, no problems. Perfect place to put them. Um, Bengals, we're already seeing some injury problems. T. Higgins was not able to play week one, and it really showed. They really showed to have them struggle. And I'll get more on that later. But yeah, if Joe Burrow doesn't get hurt, this team will be good. I mean, Bengals, they almost guarantee you for a slow start in the beginning of the season. So do not judge them based off of this first couple weeks too harshly because they will get better, they will get it rolling, and they will get in motion, and they will find a way to win football games and be contending at the end of the season. But like you said, that's if Joe Burrow does not get injured. Eagles, your team stays healthy, you're going to be a problem. Saquon Barkley just proved that he's a dog. If you can keep Saquon Barkley healthy along with the rest of the team, hey, them boys just might have something to say about Patrick Mahomes having a three-peat. I like what I've seen out of them. Mind you, it's just week one, but I like what I saw. Jalen Hurts, a little bit of a shaky game, but it was still good enough to beat a Packers team who we are saying is going to be scary. So without injuries, you'll be perfectly fine. And then the Jets, they deserve to be in this tier because of last season, because of what we know Aaron Rodgers can be. We know that Aaron Rodgers, when he's playing, is a top five quarterback when he is playing and when he is himself. So last year for him to go down week one, it ruined all the hype and everything that was built going into that season. We were waiting to see what can they do with Aaron Rodgers. We didn't get to see that. We have to see it this year. So I'm not gonna say that they don't deserve to be in this tier because because of what we saw last season with that big of an injury. So I do agree with them being in the no injuries, no problem part. And then up to the final team, favorites. Hey, Chiefs. Three-peat. After what I saw week one, I can confirm three-peat. They've shown that they have the defense that is able to. Now we can say Mahomes did not have a Mahomes game. He just didn't. But he had a good enough game for him to win. He had a good enough game for him to get the win. And then what we saw of their defense, out of that pass rush, out of them being able to make Lamar uncomfortable, those are all signs of a great football team. Those are all signs of a team that is able to win in January and in February. If you have a good pass rush, a good defense, and then you have an offense with the best quarterback slash best player in the league, yeah, they're definitely gonna get number three, and that's gonna definitely boost Mahomes in that conversation of him catching up to Brady. I do definitely see that, and yeah, there's not much to say about this team. I mean, they added Xavier Worthy. You added Marquise Brown, who was not even able to play in Week One. He has an injury that's going to take a couple of weeks off of the beginning of the season. Rasheed Rice, I don't know how he didn't get suspended. Don't ask me. I don't make the rules. I don't know how he didn't get suspended, but he didn't get suspended. So they will have a full season with Rasheed Rice, and unless he does something else stupid, you know. And so full season with him and Travis Kelsey. We know who Travis Kelsey is. So it's just a team that it's clear, it's obvious that they didn't lose too much. You lost L'Jarius Sneed, but what I saw was your replacements, Jalen Watson. They're solid enough to where Trent can just take over that cornerback one role, and your cornerback two isn't bad at all. It's a situation like we have with the Broncos, like we have with the Jets. You have that number one corner, and then you have a counterpart that can support and that can hold their own. They don't have a duo anymore, but you do have that support. So yeah, that's all I have to say on your NFL tier list. Man, you did a pretty good job. As expected, you did a pretty good job. Like I said, there's a couple things I disagree with, but for the most part, you did a pretty solid job, man. Tip my hat off to you.
So we're looking at B plus, A minus. Who we're looking at?
I would give it a grade. I say I I give it a B plus. I give it a B plus. Like I said, I have a little bit of a problem with the Bears. Like I said, I have a little bit of a problem with that's pretty much it with the Colts and the Chargers. About the don't sleep on them. But other than that, that's you did pretty good when it comes to this tier list. So yeah, I'll give you definitely a B plus. Hopefully next year, you can get that A. But hey, good job, man.
All right, we go ahead and move on to the week one takeaways. Now, I do want to say something real quick about week one because a lot of things you said about my NFL tier list, right? You said what I saw in week one, what I saw in week one. Week one is such a funny. I feel like week one through week three is such a funny time period for people that do podcasts, people that do sports TV because it's too early to see anything, and I feel like all we can do is take our preseason assumptions and drag them into the season. Like for example, you just said how you don't think Caleb Williams looked good at all, and you said that's why it shouldn't be a scary team because of what you saw from him, right? 92 yards offense, right, or passing yards. I could come back and say they still won the game. They're 1-0, and we still ain't seen half of what Caleb Williams is supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? So with the week one, you're gonna take your pre-assumption of a team heading into this year, and you're gonna say, you know what? Either they met your expectations and you're gonna ride with it, or they didn't. And if they won, well, like the Bears, you can say they didn't even meet what I think they're gonna be, and they end up winning the game. For example, the New York Jets. Last night, a lot of people looking at them like, oh, y'all are same thing y'all were last year. No, they're not. I don't think so. I think last night we saw flashes of what they can be. We saw a drive, and it's so funny because during this drive, and this is the drive they scored, A-Rod made that pass and had a look on his face that I sent you. That drive, they went and scored. I have a group chat with my friends, and we all went crazy, right? Everybody said, "Oh, Jets win the AFC East. Oh, Jets win the AFC." I said, "Jets win the Super Bowl." We all went stupid, right? Then the game went downhill from there, and they texted the group chat and said, "Nah, they're cheeks. Nah, they're bad." Like, no, no, keep the same energy you had. It's cool. They lost. And it's my fault for thinking the Jets were going to win that game because I was thinking that the 49ers was a bad offseason going into this game. They was off slow. And not only that, but Christian McCaffrey get hurt. I'm like, oh, y'all definitely got this game right there. But the Jets, this is Aaron Rodgers' first full regular season game with the Jets. Period. This is this new O-line's first full regular season game. Now, I was disappointed in the defense because although the offense was going to struggle, which I should have known, the defense looked bad. Kyle Shanahan was getting whatever they wanted anytime they wanted. They dominated time of possession. They ran like 30 more plays than the Jets, which is bad. So the defense, but that's the thing though. This is a part of why I say week one is funny because I can sit here and say the defense is not going to be a problem moving forward. I guarantee you this is not going to be. If the Jets have a bad year, it's not because of the defense. And I can blame that game on the defense because the defense cannot get the 49ers offense off the field. I know this defense is elite. So that's why I say week one is so funny because you can look at it however you want to look at it. There is no facts. There's nothing set in stone. Teams that went 1-0 can not make the playoffs. Teams that went 0-1 can make the playoffs. Like that's just how funny week one is. And one thing that I saw in week one a lot was illegal formations. A lot of them. Last year they threw 55 of those flags. And week one alone, they threw 22. Like they're cracking down on it. And I think that if I'm an NFL coach, first 15, 30 minutes, we working on shifts, we working on motions, we're making sure that don't happen because that happened way too much in week one. So just tell us a couple things that you saw in week one or just your opinion on week one.
Well, it's a funny thing. It's something that you can't look too far deep into. But hey, if we don't, what are we gonna talk about after week one? So we do have to look at it in some light. And like you said, the Bears, you were still able to win without Caleb Williams having a bad performance. So take that win and build on it. Build on it. Caleb Williams, step up a little bit, get comfortable with the flow and with the speed of the game, which what we saw in the preseason we thought you were. But get comfortable and just build on this 1-0 start. Like you said, if you're 1-0, for me right now, if you're 1-0, take this and build on it. Take what you saw, take the good, try to eliminate some of the bad and build on it. If you're 0-1, regroup and try to come out and win this week. But like major takeaway is from what I saw was the teams that I thought were going to be a problem, and teams that I thought that were going to be scary, and teams I thought that weren't going to be scary. I was correct. Now, like you said, it's week one, so you can't really judge it. But like you said, what you had coming in from preseason, what I had coming in from preseason, there's teams that I said that weren't going to like the Colts. Now, mind you, the Colts and the Texans, they were in a very good game, but I'm still not sold. I'm still not sold because I don't think that the Texans had a good enough game. Like a lot of people are saying Texans are going to be scary. Like a lot of people are amazed by that win. If I'm a Texans fan, I'm glad we got the win, but we got to do better. Like I don't think that the Colts and the Texans, I don't think that should have been that tight of a game. I just don't. And so like the Colts, I don't think that they're going to be one of those teams. The Chargers, I was correct about them. I don't think they're going to be one of those teams. They struggled a lot against the Raiders. They struggled a lot. And so I think that whenever you do play teams that are better than the Raiders, you're going to lose. I really do. I don't think that not everybody's going to let J.K. Dobbins go stupid. They're just not. And that's okay. But teams like the Steelers, I was correct. Steelers offense looks a lot better. looks a lot smoother. Last year, we couldn't get the ball past the 50-yard line a lot. There's a lot of times where we literally had 3 plays for like 3 straight possessions, 3 straight, just 3 and outs, just like that. But this past Sunday, we were able to move the ball. We were able to put our kicker. Yes, we scored 18 points, but the offense has to be able to put the team in position to score 18 points. We had to be able to put Boswell in position to kick 6 field goals, which he made them. So now we're gonna go back to the drawing board. I feel like with now here's a big takeaway from the Steelers game. Open up the playbook a little bit. Let it's like this past week we were just trying to protect Justin Fields, trying to protect his decision making, trying to like they say if you have a struggling quarterback, simplify the game for them, right? I feel like we simplify it just a little bit too much. Open up the playbook a little bit. Take some more chances. We saw that connection that he found with George Pickens. George Pickens is showing that he's a top 3 deep threat in the league. So find ways to get him that ball. Find ways to take shots down the field. Get Calvin Austin involved a little more with his speed. Find ways to incorporate Pat Frymuth across the middle a little bit more. Like that's my big takeaway from week 1. Open up the playbook a little bit. Allow Justin Fields to make some mistakes. It's okay. It's okay for him to make some mistakes. See, you're shaking your head. You're shaking your
I
head.
disagree because of the kind of game, and this is what I'm talking about. Week 1, because of the kind of game that was. If Justin Fields threw an interception, we would have lost. We could have possibly like could have
Yes.
shifted everything because he played. We protected the ball. We had no turnovers. We had no turnovers compared to their 3. Right? That's how he won that game, and that's how it might look early. Mind you, Justin Fields' first game on a new team. Mind you, he didn't think he was gonna start this game, and mind you, it's a brand new offensive coordinator that he hasn't had. So I think that in game 1, protect him. Don't let him make mistakes. Do not let him do nothing crazy that can cost us the game. Because let's go 1-0, like you said, and let's build off of it. Now we can open up the playbook as we go throughout the season. So that's why I say week 1 is funny because we simplified it. But I promise you, there's no way we're gonna simplify the rest of the year if he plays the rest of the year because we don't know what's gonna happen with Russ and with him. And Russ was also a last minute you're out right after the Friday practice or Thursday practice. They said, okay, he might not even play in week 1. We all thought he would. Then Justin Fields comes. Hey, simplify it because he's really the QB2. Simplify it, win the game. So that's why I think week 1 you have to look at it like that.
But that's why I'm saying that's why I'm saying it now. Going into the game, you're right. He throws an interception. If he makes a mistake, we're cooked. We would have lost that game. But that's what I'm saying now. Now that we are 1-0, now that we're about to go against the Denver Broncos, open up a little bit. Our defense is good enough to, like I said, if he does make that mistake, our defense is good enough. You saw it. We saw it last year. To me, there's no difference in him making a mistake and Kenny Pickett having 5 drives where we accumulated 20 yards in those 5 drives.
In those 5 drives, we accumulated 20 yards. We lost that game. Not all of them,
You're
but
right.
all 3 games.
You're right. You're right. That is true. But I feel like I saw enough out of Justin Fields this past week. Like I said, they saying that they're preparing right now as if Justin Fields is going to be the starter for this next week. So go ahead and open up the playbook just a little bit, just a little bit more. See what he can do. See what you have back there. Because as we go along, let's just say if Russ is out a couple more weeks, we can't just keep simplifying the offense. We can't. That's not gonna. As we progress in the season, that's not gonna help us. So now is the time to open it up a little bit and see what happens. But yeah, like that's just couple of my week 1 takeaways. The things that I saw was the teams that I thought weren't going to be so good showed me that. The teams I thought were going to be so good showed me that. Now, of course, there's a couple of teams in there, like the Bengals, for example, who lost week 1, who I thought, they're playing the Patriots. Of course, they're going to take care of the Patriots. But yeah, like there's a couple teams that defied my expectations. But for the most part, what I expected, it happened. That's my week 1 takeaway.
Yeah. So that was week 1 takeaways. And next, as I said in the week 1 takeaways, I said that some teams are 0-1 and still make the playoffs. Some teams are 1-0, they're not gonna make the playoffs. That's just how funny week one is. So out of all the on one teams, me and Jerry gonna tell y'all what team we still have confidence in. What team do we still believe is going to be that playoff team in the future? Now, like I said, you don't want to overreact in week one, but you gotta react to something, right? You gotta be able to talk about something. So I'm gonna start this one off with my. I think I know who you're gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the Jets, and this is why. What I saw on Monday, like I said, I'm more disappointed in defense than anything. Right? Offensively, I'm still looking at a team that is still searching for that number two. Because mind you, Mike Williams barely played. He played 4 snaps in the first half. I don't remember seeing him in the second half. All right, so Mike Williams is still coming back from that injury. They're still integrating him into the offense. He was brought there to be the number two in New York, hands down. You talked about him in the NFL vault, talked about how he's such a great jump ball option, right? He's one of the best jump ball receivers, one-on-one receivers in the league. So he's going to bring that aspect to the offense, which will stretch out the offense, allow Garrett Wilson to eat, allow Brees Hall to eat. Within that, because the score, they only lost by 13, but we all know that it wasn't a 13-point game. We all know this. In that game, though, we saw Alan Lazard and Aaron Rodgers rekindle that chemistry they had in Green Bay. We saw it. So now, if Alan Lazard can keep it up, because he's not a great receiver, he's solid though, especially as a number three. He's solid, right? He's not great, but he's solid. If he can be a reliable number three, you have Mike Williams coming back. You have Garrett Wilson. We saw flashes of Garrett Wilson. You have a nice receiving core. Now you don't have the Bears receiving core or the Bengals receiving core, but you don't have one of the bottom six, bottom seven either. You have like a nice middle ground receiving core with the high end receiver in Garrett Wilson. Then we saw how much they want to get the ball to Brees Hall. We saw it. They want to get him the ball, but the 49ers run defense will not let him get anything going. So I think that this a brand new O line too. A brand new O line is going to build. They're going to get better. All right, the run game will get better. And Aaron Rodgers still knocking some of the rust off. He hasn't played a full game since January 2023, I believe. So he missed that full season last year, and then this was his first full game since his last game with the Packers. So he's still knocking rust off. And I saw some passes that he made that made me say, "Oh, that's A-Rod." So he's still knocking rust off. The offense is going to get better. Defense, I promise you, they're not going to be this bad. I guarantee you that. They just got punched in the mouth on Monday and couldn't recover from it. But you know the best thing about their schedule is that the next 4 games, they get to recover. And they get to use these games to tune up and get ready to play better teams. Upcoming week, they play the Tennessee Titans. You just told me how bad Will Levis is, right? The defense should feast. The defense should eat. You're right. It's going to be a lot of this on Sunday, all right? Right, and then next week, you also have the Vikings and the Broncos. You have easy games coming up. Use these games to tune up, let A-Rod get more into the game, more into the flow of it, and they're gonna be just fine. So I do think that this is a team that, and I have to call this person out, Mike Greenberg on ESPN, right? Green, that's what they call him. Came out talking about last night was such an embarrassment, and it was A-Rod looked okay, but it's such a bad look for Robert Sauer and Joe Douglas, the GM. Like, what are you talking about? It's week one. Relax. The same energy you had going into the season, keep it. Don't let one game against a good team in the 49ers. I never said the 49ers was a bad team. I just thought that because of the offseason, they was going to be slow coming into the season. They're a good team. They just went to the Super Bowl last year. They had one of the best rosters in the league. And A-Rod just came back. Like, relax, calm down. I think this is the only one team that I have the most confidence in.
Should have known you can go with the Jets as your pick. Should have known. Got a little bit of bias there, but only thing I gotta say about that is only reason why I think that Green said what he said was because of the hype coming into this season. It was because of, like you said, you had the Jets winning week one. You didn't think it was gonna look how it looked, and for, like you said, for the defense to get punched in the mouth and not be able to cover, for the offense to look a little slow. Mind you, they had their moments, but for them to look a little slow, I feel like that is the only reason why you say it's a little bit of embarrassment, because of the product that you put on the field with the high expectations. Like, your expectations were up here for week one coming to the season. You played down here. So that's the only thing I have to say about that. But, you know, my team that's on one that I have the most confidence in is I'm gonna go to LA. I'm gonna say the Rams. I definitely think that this is a team that, if you're the 49ers, you need to look out for. If you're the 49ers, the Eagles, you need to look out for, because those are two teams that we think are just gonna, that we say is their conference. But I think that this is a team that can really shake some things up. What I saw was, this is a team where what I saw on Sunday night was great for me. What I saw, you played the Lions. Like I said, I'm a little high on the Lions. I think that the Lions can find a way to get back to the NFC Championship this year. And you played a tough game against them. Mind you, you have injuries up front to your O line, which is a big part of why the game went the way it went.
The whole O line, not
The
just
whole O line, the whole O line, you have problems with, and so that is why we saw Aiden Hutchinson just having his way with whoever he was lined up against, having his way with him, and so that um create a lot of problems for your offense. Puka Nakua, he gets hurt, he comes back in, he's not able to go, and he has to come back out. He's gonna miss a couple of games, and so when this team gets back fully healthy, they're gonna be scary. Like I said earlier when we were talking about the tiers list, Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup is that guy. He said, "Hey, let me remind y'all. Y'all out here talking about Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. Y'all talking about all these receivers. Let me remind y'all. Let me remind y'all why I was a triple crown winner. He did his thing, and while I saw the defense, you know, I saw enough. I did see enough. Like you said, you lost Aaron Donald. It's a major loss. But when I saw Jared Verse, when I saw a couple of your other young guys, I saw your ability to make plays at times. Now, mind you, Jameson Williams had a great game in overtime. Whenever the Lions got the ball, they literally just ran the ball over and over and over again. And you couldn't stop the run. David Montgomery, give it to him, give it to him, give it to him, give it to him. And he just drove all the way down the field and was able to punch it in. And so I do think that that's something that you can clean up throughout the year, though. Knowing that you have Matthew Stafford and Cooper Cup on that offense, that's something that you can clean up throughout the year. You have a good enough offense to where your defense, who's the side of the ball that's a little inexperienced, can get things going and find their ground, find where they're good at, find ways to get the pass rush going, find ways to stop the run. So I do think that there will be a scary team when this team gets back to full health. I really do. That's the team that I have the most confidence in.
you. What they say when they was giving the ball to David Montgomery? What they say? What were
What do
they
you mean?
saying? What were they saying? What did you say they
You
was
just
saying?
give it to him. Just give it to him. Give it to him. Give it to him. That was just over and over again. They couldn't stop him. They were just giving it to him.
I'm surprised you ain't say take that, take that.
Okay, no, see, that's what you like to say. That's you that likes to say that. That's I don't even know. That's you.
Oh man, that's the first thing that went to my mind. I'm surprised you say take that, take that. All right, but just to piggyback off what you said, the defense. And the defense was a question mark going into the season, right? It's one reason why a lot of people wasn't sold on the Rams going into the season, but they went against a very talented offense in Detroit. Right?
Yes.
Amon-Ra St. Brown had like two catches. They showed that they can keep a lid over defense, over offenses. They're not teams don't come out and just put up a bunch of points on them to where every game is a shootout. They showed that they can contain offenses. And that's all you gotta do, in my opinion. They ain't gotta be a top five defense. They ain't gotta be a top to me, be a top 15 defense. Don't allow big plays. Don't allow a lot of points. Y'all be just fine because can't nobody stop your offense. And with Puka going out, and they were still able to put points up. And it's not like they had the lead. Then Puka got hurt, and the Lions came back, and they was able to kind of hold them off. They was down. They had no offense going when Puka got hurt. And they was still able to come back up into that game. So I'm very impressed with what I saw, and that's one reason why I think that they are going to be, like I said, in that scary team tier because they can beat anybody in my opinion. Like I don't think I think this team is very very scary. All right, and to end this episode today, we're gonna talk about once again, hate to overreact, but we gotta talk about a team that's on one, a team that, and I'm gonna start this one off, a team that lost to the Patriots, right? And the funny thing is the Bengals have so much to hide behind to where you don't react to this game. What's one thing that they do every year? They start off slow, right? They didn't have T Higgins, right? Was Jamar Chase even 100%, right? So they have reason, and this Joe Burrow first full game since last year, right? Because he missed a lot of time last year. They have a lot to hide behind, but I'm not gonna let it happen because you lost to the Patriots offensively, what do they have? Like, and that's the thing too. If you wasn't gonna put up points, like because you had T Higgins injury and Jamar Chase 100%, you shouldn't let them put up points. Like to me, that was a problem. Like defensively, what were you doing out there? The Patriots, just give a couple numbers. Well, the Bengals was 4 for 11 on third down. That's not gonna cut it. All right, and okay, cool. T. Higgins wasn't there. Jamar Chase 100% cool. Y'all ran 48 plays. The Patriots ran 64 plays. That means y'all could not get the Patriots off the field. Do you know the Patriots quarterback is? Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is not. He's not trash, nothing like that. But he's not a. He can't. He can't carry a team. And with the roster he has to carry that team. Like name one receiver over there. The average fan cannot name one receiver in New England. They can't. And they ran 64 plays to your 48. The Patriots also had 290 yards. Cincinnati had 224. Like they shouldn't have even been close to cracking 300. Is what I'm saying. And then on top of that, time of possession, the Patriots won time of possession 34 minutes and 3 seconds to the Bengals 25 minutes and 27 seconds. So I'm saying all of this to say, is the Bengals defense even good? Are they good? That's the question leaving week one. I care less about the offense. I know when Joe Burrow gets more reps in, and when Jamar Chase, they hopefully give him that deal, and he comes back and be 100% locked in, and then T Higgins get back from his injury, they gonna be just fine. But defense, what are y'all doing? What's happening? Because you know the Patriots can only run the ball, right? So if you know that, why didn't you just stack the box and let Jacoby Brissett beat you through the air, which I know he can do. Ramondre Stevenson had like 120 rushing yards. Make that make sense. So yes, they start off slow every year. Yes, they was missing T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, not 100%, whether it's mentally or physically, because of their contract situation. But defense, there's no excuse for you to lose to the Patriots, who they're. Remember, I told you on the NFL vote, they season total for wins betting wise was like 4.5. They they
Hey,
need, they need 5 wins. They gonna be.
hey,
They got.
yep, because they have one now.
They have won, and
They
nobody
have
thought they
one
was gonna win
now.
this. Yeah.
That's yeah, you hit the nail on the head. But I've I've never been a I've never seen what they've had on defense. I just never have. I feel like they've been a team that their defense, like a lot of teams, their offense feeds off their defense. They've been a team that feeds off their defense. They score a touchdown, they make big plays on offense. Now you got momentum, and then their defense comes out and makes a play. But I've never been so high on their defense. Like there's countless games where they like every time they played us, it's because their offense is good enough to where you cannot keep their offense in check the entire game. Now the Patriots are able to do that this game, like you said. There's so many questions behind that offense. Joe Burrow's first game back in a long time. Was Jamar Chase 100%? No T Higgins. First game without Joe Mixon. Like there's a lot of questions on that offense. And so, like you said, their defense should have been able to step it up. But like you said, I don't know if their defense is good. I've never been one to say that their defense was really good. I just haven't. I've never seen it that way. I've always seen that it's been a offensive driven team. But like you said, with their offense, if you look at the stats, they had 70 rushing yards. I mean, that's not bad. It's
Not
not
bad.
bad at all. It's not bad at all. But your leading rusher in Zach Moss, if you look at it, Zach Moss, he had 9 carries for 44 yards. And Joe Burrow had 15 of your 70 rushing yards, if you really look at it. So, if you take away his rushing yards, that is 55 rushing yards. That's not going to cut it. It's just not. 55 rushing yards between your running backs, it's not going to cut it. It's not. Especially whenever your number two receiver is out. So your pass game isn't going to be as good. You have to be able to find a way to get the ball on the ground. And this game right here, this was such a bad game for T. Higgins to miss. Let's not forget the Patriots do have Christian Gonzalez.
Hmm?
Jamar Chase went 6 for 62. He's 6 catches for 62 yards. But when he was lined up against Christian Gonzalez, he had like 3 catches for 15 yards. So they were able to put a cap on Jamar Chase. Because we know that Jamar Chase, he has the ability any game to go out there and go for 120 and 2 touchdowns. But mind you, like you said, he held out for the contract situations. He might not be 100%. So he was going to be slow coming back. But Christian Gonzalez, he used that to his advantage. The Patriots used that to their advantage and put a cap on it. And so for you to not have a second option in T. Higgins, it made it tough for Joe Burrow. I mean, yeah, he went 21 for 29. That's not bad, but it's for just for 164 passing yards. And so to answer the question, I don't think it's time to panic in Cincy. It's not time to hit the panic button. Godzilla's coming. It's not time for that.
No,
But I do think that it is this loss, like you said, because you lost to the Patriots. It should raise some eyebrows in that organization. What do we really have here? Take a step back and see what do we really have here. Defense, take a step back and see, hey, what can we be? Because if we're being honest, like I said, they've always been an offensive driven team. So they held the Patriots to 16 points. That might be something the defense says. Hey, we held them to 16 points. Like you're asking so much more of us. We haven't, like I said, that's what the Bengals tend to do. The Bengals they aren't such a defense that can just be known to get stops like that. They're just not from what I've seen. So they held the Patriots to 16 points. Now, yes, it is the Patriots.
that's
Patriots
where
with
I
no
stand.
offense.
That's where I stand right there. It is the
But it's
Patriots,
16 points though.
but it's
16 points. If I'm correct, like you said, I didn't really watch the game. If I'm correct, 16 points is a touchdown and three field goals.
and this is what I mean. So the Bengals. All right, let me put it like this: if the Chiefs, so let's talk about that tiers list real quick because we had the Bengals in the same tier with the 49ers, the Eagles, and the Jets, right? If the 49ers played the Patriots and lost, what would you have said? What would you raise the eyebrows?
Yes, oh,
If the
big
if the
time.
if the Eagles lost to the Patriots, would you be raising eyebrows?
Yes,
If the Jets lost to the Patriots, would you raising eyebrows?
yes.
And if the Chiefs lost to the Patriots, would you be? You probably wouldn't, but would you be just kind of looking at it?
It raised some concern just a little bit.
Yes, and roster wise, are the Bengals better than any of those four teams? The 49ers, the
No,
Eagles, the Jets, or the Chiefs? So they're
no.
so the Bengals like kind of at the bottom of that elite tier of rosters, they elite tier teams at the bottom of it. So what I'm saying, if we would have looked at them, like raised our eyebrows at them, we gotta look at the Bengals, and I'm not pushing the panic button, but I'm side eyeing it. I'm looking at it only because yes, you said 16 points, but it's so funny. I was watching First Things First. Y'all know that's my show, and Nick Wright said if you're betting this past Sunday, take the Bengals straight up win. All right, because the Bengals scored 10 points, they're probably gonna win. All you need is 10 points, they're probably gonna win. He said no. I'm sorry. He said if you score 10 points, you're gonna win. If you score 9 points, you're probably gonna win. If you score 8 points, you're still gonna win. Like that. That's how bad he was talking about. He's talking about their spread and everything. Take the spread. And the spread is like 9. I think it was 9. So my whole thing is the Patriots. We looked at them as like bottom feeders, right? The only reason they're not in the bottom barrel cheeks tier is because there is a tier for teams that are taking steps in the right direction. Right? If there was no tier for that, they're going in the bottom barrel cheeks tier. Because like I said, I'm looking at this team and bruh, they were so scared to put Drake May out this year because of the O line. Clearly, the O line had no problems because the Bengals only had one sack, and the Patriots had 120 rushing yards from one person. Right? The Bengals threw. I'm sorry, the Patriots threw the ball 24 times. They ran the ball 25 plus 7, that's 32. They ran the ball 39 times, threw the ball 24 times. If you are a team that has to be in that elite tier, you cannot let a team that runs the ball 39 times and pass the ball 24 times to beat you. I'm sorry. It just can't. It don't look right. And I'm going against my own word here. Yes, it's week one, but I'm looking at the panic button and I'm peeking at it. Because y'all start off slow, but y'all don't start off slow to teams that are this bad. Like nobody in America thought that the Patriots were going to win. And it's funny because some people did pick the Patriots, but a lot of us did not think they would have lost this game. And I even thought they wasn't going to lose without even if Jamar Chase didn't play. I thought they would still win this game just because they're a team we look at as a Super Bowl contender. Cause I know one thing: if the Steelers would have played the Patriots week one and we would have lost, you'd have been like, season over.
Boy, I would throw in the towel in the season, man. I would have,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
man.
So the only reason that you're not saying that about this is because they have that reputation of starting slow. Because in a heartbeat they can turn it on, and I got that. But the Patriots, like if the Saints lost to the Panthers, I feel like we looking at it the same way. Saints lost to the Panthers, but Saints, y'all trash. Y'all are garbage, right? I'm not gonna say the Bengals are garbage, but this is definitely something to look at.
Most
Hey,
definitely.
but that is it for today, man. I'm gonna make another video and do my week 2 picks. All right, so that'll be coming before Thursday's game for sure. But we'll be seeing Jerrick again next week to react to week 2.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all. We out here.